Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Harmony Blueprint, Disrupting the Growing podcast. I'm your host, Tina Jett. And as always, I'm excited to have you here. Huge thank you to everyone who's tuned into the last episode on mindfulness and resilience. I loved hearing your feedback and how you're starting to incorporate mindfulness into your daily life. Now, if you missed it, be sure to go back and give it a listen. It is the perfect foundation for today's topic. Today, we're diving into something that I know many of you struggle with, and that is self-care. Specifically, how to create a self-care routine that actually fits into your busy life. Let's get real here and be honest. When life gets hectic, self-care is the first thing to go. But here's the truth. If you are not taking care of yourself, you cannot show up fully for anyone or anything else. Self-care isn't selfish. It is essential. And my goal is that by the end of today's episode, you will have practical, realistic ways to build self-care into your routine, no matter how packed your schedule is. So let's start by kind of going through a few myths that I see when I'm talking to people about self-care. I think one of the biggest myths is that self-care has to be a big, elaborate production. Think bubble baths, spa days, expensive retreats. Now, don't get me wrong, those things can be great, but self-care is so much more than that. At its core, self-care is about taking intentional actions to support your mental, your emotional, and your physical well-being. Sometimes it could be very simple as drinking enough water, or by simply saying no to something that drains your energy, and remembering that when you're saying no to something, you're saying yes to something else. And when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And we don't want that something else that you're saying no to be you and have your energy drained. Now, another myth is that self-care takes too much time. I think I hear this all the time. I'd love to take better care of myself, but I don't have the time. But self-care doesn't have to take hours. It can be woven into your day in small but powerful ways. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So now that we've kind of cleared up what self-care is and isn't, let's talk about how to create a routine that works for you and your busy lifestyle. Now, the first step is to figure out what it is that refuels you. And so you can start by just asking yourself, what activities make me feel relaxed, energized, or more like myself? Maybe it's going for a walk, listening to music, journaling, or maybe it's something as simple as sitting quietly with a cup of coffee or some tea. Now, once you have a list of activities, the next step is to start small. And instead of trying to overhaul your entire routine, I want you to pick one self-care practice that you can incorporate into your day. So let me give you some examples. If your mornings are chaotic, could you then take 5 minutes to breathe deeply or set an intention for the day? Now, if you're constantly on the go, maybe you could use your commute or your lunch break to listen to an inspiring podcast or some music that you love. Now, if your evenings are the only time that you have quiet time, maybe you create a very simple wind down ritual like stretching, journaling, or reading. Now, the key here is consistency. It is much better to spend 5 to 10 minutes on self-care every single day than to do something big once a month. Okay? There's an activity I'm going to share with you that you can do right now. So what you can do is you could get a piece of paper or you can open your notes app in your phone. But what I want you to do is I want you to make 2 columns. In one column, I want you to write what drains me. And in the other, I want you to write down what refuels me. So what drains me on one side and what refuels me on the other side. Now, this is going to give you clarity on what to cut back on and what to prioritize. So let me give you an example. If scrolling through social media leaves you feeling drained, maybe your self-care is replacing 10 minutes of scrolling with something much more nourishing, like a quick walk, or maybe even calling a friend you haven't talked to in a while. But let's get real. Even with the best intentions, life gets busy. So how do you make self-care stick when you have a schedule that is packed full? So I'm going to give you my 3 strategies that I use that I think could possibly help you. The first one is time blocking. If you schedule self-care like you would any other appointment, put it on your calendar. Treat it as your non-negotiable. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, I want you to block that time and I want you to honor it. You can also stack your habits. This is called habit stacking. You can take self-care and you can tie it into an existing habit. So an example here would be if you brush your teeth every night before bed, add a minute, 60 seconds of gratitude journaling afterwards. Set a timer for 1 minutes and just write down everything that you're grateful for 1 minute. Now, if you make coffee in the morning, you could use that time to take a few deep breaths in and set an intention for the day. I want to encourage you to also look for small opportunities throughout your day to practice self-care. Now, this could be something as simple as taking a stretch break during the day. It could be spend a minute focusing on your breath while you're waiting in line somewhere. The art of coming back to the breath, of breathing in, breathing out. You could also pause for a quick check-in and just say, how am I feeling right now? Now, these little micro moments is what I'm going to call them. They may seem very small, but I promise you they add up over time and they were going to help you feel so much more centered and cared for. Now, one of my clients, I had a schedule that left absolutely no room for traditional self-care. She was working full-time, she was raising 3 kids, and she was completely 100% burned out. So together, we identified micro moments where she could fit self-care into her day. And so we started as baby steps, and she started by taking 2 minutes, that's it, stretch breaks every single hour. She set an alarm on her phone, and every hour she would get up and she would stretch for 2 minutes. And she would also do a quick gratitude check before she went to bed. Now, these small changes made a huge difference in her energy and her mindset. So here's something important to remember. Self-care isn't selfish. Self-care isn't about physical actions. It's also about the mindset that's behind them. At its heart, self-care is an act of self-love. When you take time for yourself, you are telling yourself that you matter, that your well-being is important. This shift in mindset can transform the way you show up in every area of your life. It's kind of like the old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. When you prioritize your own needs, you're better able to support the people and responsibilities and the things that you care about. So if you ever feel guilty about taking time for yourself, I want you to remember, you are not just doing it for you. You're doing it so that you can show up as the best version of yourself for everyone and everything that matters to you in your life. So I hope you enjoyed this. So to wrap up, let's kind of recap. Self-care isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, intentional actions that refuel you. You can create a personalized routine by identifying what drains you and then making a list about what refuels you. You can use strategies like time blocking, habit stacking, micro moments to fit self-care into your busy lifestyle. And most importantly, the big takeaway here is self-care is an act of self-love. It's how you fill up your own cup so you can give to others. So here is my challenge for you. Take 10 minutes today to create your What Refuels Me list. And my challenge is for you to pick one small self-care practice and start it this week. Now, if this episode resonated with you, I would love to hear about it. You can share your thoughts on social media. You can leave me a review. You can send me a message. Your stories inspire me, and I am so grateful to have you as part of this community. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for joining me on the Harmony Blueprint, Disrupting the Grind. Until next time, take care of yourself. You deserve it. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey with the Harmony Blueprint, Disrupting the Grind. If you enjoyed today's episode and found value in our discussions, we would love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver valuable content to you and others that are seeking personal growth and work-life harmony. Be sure to stay connected with us by visiting our website at www.life-wire.net/Harmony Blueprint. There, you're going to find additional resources, show notes, and exclusive offers to support you on your journey to success and fulfillment.